I'm Henderson City Councilwoman Monica Larson. I'm in the studio with J Haleem.
Does your roof need some love? Maybe a whole roof makeover? Rhino Roofing can make your roof as good as new. Any job, big or small, residential or commercial. Go to rhinolovesroofs.com to get a free estimate. That's Rhino Roofing at rhinolovesroofs.com to get the roof of your dreams. Rhino Roofing, Las Vegas's premier roofing company. rhinolovesroofs.com. That's rhinolovesroofs.com.
What's up, y'all? We back. It's your boy, J Haleem. We are in the studio once again. And as I keep telling y'all, Vegas Valley, we are the #1 media platform here because we keep upgrading every single week. And this week is no different. Now, it's going to be hard to upgrade past this young lady here. I met her not too long ago. And again, just talking off camera, we were just talking about how we're so impressed with how she moves about the Valley, how she conducts herself. And if you are from the Valley, you already know her because she's everywhere. This is Councilwoman, Henderson Councilwoman Monica Larson. Thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you so much for having me.
No problem. No problem. Listen, again, it's so funny. We got to step out. You're not running for office.
No.
You're in office.
I'm in office.
You're in office. And to see you when we met, moving about the community, talking to people the way you were, you would have thought for sure that you, and I literally asked, I'm going to be totally transparent. I was like, is she running for office? I didn't hear about election. The election coming up in November? No, she's in office for that. That was phenomenal to see. So thank you in advance. Even though I'm not a Henderson resident, my son went to school in Henderson for 2 years, so that was great. But the city of Henderson is definitely better because you're there.
Oh, gosh. Thank you so much. I'm really humble by you saying that. I love people. I love people, and it's just natural for me to do. I don't see it as a job. I see it as a service.
I love it. I love it. And don't we wish that all our politicians would say that and mean it?
Oh, trust me. I wish we did.
But that's the reason why I started with that, because we got to give people their flowers publicly, not just privately. And we got to go ahead and don't say that. You know, people talk bad about people loud and whisper things good. I don't want to do that. I don't want to use this platform for that. I want to definitely make sure that we're highlighting this superwoman that we have sitting here. But what we want to know is, how did Superwoman become Superwoman? How was Supergirl like? Who was Supergirl?
Well, I give all credit, my faith, to Jesus Christ.
Love it.
God brought me here. I think back all the time from my humble beginnings, because I grew up in Chicago.
Okay.
And I grew up to a family of 6.
Okay.
My parents divorced early on.
Okay.
My mom worked 3 jobs trying to make ends meet. I learned then tenacity, perseverance, do what you have to do.
Yes.
And work with integrity.
Yes.
Because that's your name and that's your legacy. And so my mom was my role model to do that, because she always had a smile on her face no matter how hard it was.
That's amazing.
And she provided for all of us. And we moved out of Chicago. She moved us to the suburbs. And I just went to school. I graduated early because I wanted to see what there was to life.
Yeah.
And got married young, or at 22. That's young these days.
Yeah.
And had our son, and I kind of put things on the back burner for our son till he was at a certain age of maturity, and then I went back to work. And and then I just, it's incredible the journey God's brought me on, because I would have never imagined I would be in politics.
let me tell you something. Paying attention to your story is so inspiring because I always say this thing that we focus on 2% of the world, especially in this country, and that's the ultra rich or the super poor.
Right.
The other 98% we don't talk about. Right. And so we fall in that 98%, but nobody talks about that. We'll spend all day talking about Elon Musk, Jamie Dimon, all these celebrity billionaires, or we talk about how bad the poor people are doing. But we have superheroes that are making it happen every single day that's not getting put on platforms where people can know, like, I can do it too. Right. And you truly have one of those I can do it too stories, but nobody don't talk about it enough. Right. So like you said, you got out of school early for a purpose, not just because, I just wanted to be the nicest person in school and knock out all my A's and B's. You had a purpose for that. Right. Then also you're playing with your child. Right. Everybody got to have a life. You had a child, so you got to take care of that responsibility. That's right. So, okay, let me go ahead and get him where he needs to be before I do the rest. Talk about the mindset that you had in making those decisions, because people don't talk about those decisions or don't even make them like that.
I wanted to be an example for our son and show him the path that he could do it as well, no matter what the obstacles were, no matter what the naysayers or dream stealers were trying to say. Just stay focused. Yeah. Keep your faith, stay focused, and have a plan. Yeah. Visualize it, write it down.
I love it. And that's that Bible talking too. Right? The vision, make it plain. Right. No. Hey, look, you're amongst friends. You're amongst friends. So I hear it. Yeah. I hear it. And with your faith, I see, like, again, taking those steps, especially now, we start talking about, how people look at things now. Everybody want the right now thing. Yes. All of those things you knew was going to take time. Mm-hmm. Persevering through that. How do you tell young women especially to make that plan and just take the time and not wait for it to be 6 months or a year? Like, allow it to develop.
Right. Give it time. Give yourself grace, because it doesn't have to happen tomorrow. It might not happen tomorrow. Yeah. Give yourself grace, but have that plan and just work something every day, every week. But always visualize it, always speak it, and believe it, because you have to. And then see yourself as God sees you.
I love it. So when you finally jumped back out, when your son was of age, what was the first thing you did with your career?
Well, I worked corporate, and I worked at when it was AT&T Corporation, their R&D development area in Naperville, Illinois. And it was a good job. They were doing well. They split 3 times their stock, and then they split into Lucent Technologies. And then a majority of the employees went over to Lucent. Lucent started making some decisions that weren't the right decisions, and so then they got bought out like 5 times. Yeah. I listened to discernment, because you always got to listen to the Lord, and He said leave. Yes. And so I did, in preparation, and so did my husband, because my husband, God told him get his MBA. Yeah. So he did that, and it was all in preparation, because you always want to listen to Him, because He orders our footsteps. Yes. And so I left. I went, stayed corporate, but all the while I utilized where they do tuition reimbursement at these companies.
Come on.
When I was going to school, you know how you have guidance counselors. Well, the guidance counselors, I met them on the day of school, first day of school, never saw them again. Yeah. Because they focused on the rich. Yep. And so I didn't know about grants that I could go to school. I knew my mother didn't have the money for us to go to college. Yes. And so when I utilized that platform through employers so they could help pay for my college with tuition reimbursement. And so God gave me that wisdom to utilize that.
Oh, my God. Thank you so much for saying that. Talking about entrepreneurship, I fight so hard to tell my people, don't be so quick to jump off the job. Right. Use the job as a tool, not just to make a dollar. I'd say that's the third thing you should be worried about. Right. You should be going on that job to learn and to grow. That's right. Then third, the money will come. Yes. And so, I have certifications in my office. You can see I pay for every last one of them. I wish I was on a job that could have invested in me to be great. And then once you maxed out, and did everything you can do, then you can probably jump out. Another thing, you make relationships.
Right.
You know, you find your mentors, you know, at jobs. What are some of the people with some of the experiences with the career, especially in that one, that you found? Because I heard something that stuck out to me. You talk about stock splits.
Yes.
And I'm like, I hope she took advantage of them.
I sure did.
That's what I'm talking about. See, we don't have these conversations enough.
Yes.
You know, it's always just, you know, those hot button topics here and there, move on social media. But this is real life right here. This is how you get to success.
Thank you. I appreciated that discernment to utilize the stocks. Before, I remember when I was saying it split and got sold 5 different times. Thank God we did those splits before it went to junk bond status.
Yes.
There was nothing left.
Yes.
So people put all their eggs in one basket. They lost it all.
Yes.
They lost it all.
Yes.
And that propelled us to utilize that to move.
Yeah.
And then we went to the next place and then utilized it there as well for tuition reimbursement and mentorship I worked for a company, Chevron Corporation.
Yeah.
Their corporate office.
Okay.
And so there I learned and I grew. I also used tuition reimbursement. One of my mentors, and his birthday was this past weekend, was a black gentleman called Hap Payne. He was the president over a huge area.
Yeah.
And he took me under his wing to mentor me because someone did it for him.
I love
And,
it. Happy birthday to him.
Yes,
well, definitely.
Yes, he passed, but such a good man. And he mentored me. He educated me. He showed me how to avoid the pitfalls, so I wouldn't make some of the same mistakes. And just always spoke word and life into me to encourage me.
You'd be surprised, people that sat right here where you're sitting at now. I had a young lady here who's probably running about a $4 or $5 million plumbing company, but she got all her skills and mentorship from her career as an employee, and then she was able to step out and be very uber successful here in the Valley because of that. What is the advice to these kids that's so ready to just jump out and just put it, like, you know, just jump out head first?
Yeah, you can't do that. It's, I want to say, paying your dues, but that's your time to be cultivated.
Yes.
To grow.
Yes.
And so, because Rome wasn't built in a day.
Not even.
So God is just using those people he put into your lives to teach you, to mentor, to educate, and to show you things so you can be successful. Because you don't want to jump out head first, because then you make mistakes and then you could lose everything. And then you get dejected and then you want to give up. But don't give up. Just plan.
Yeah.
Plan, take your time, and then execute.
I like what you said earlier about doing something every day. Because even if your plan is not to be at that job, do a little bit towards getting to what you really want to do every day. You don't have to eat, it's an elephant. You only eat an elephant one bite at a time. You know, you can't just try to get the whole thing.
That's right.
But if you see, you know, that you're getting some gains, just keep going in that right direction.
That's right.
What do you have to say? Because especially nowadays, it's hard to celebrate something because everybody's saying you don't have enough. Oh, $1 million is not enough money. $2 million is not enough money. $100,000 is not enough money. I'm like, well, if somebody had 10,000 and they got 50,000, they should be celebrating that. If they got $1 million, they should be celebrating that. What should you say to these people that's not stopping and smelling the roses, or stopping and acknowledging the blessings that they have?
You have to stop and be grateful every day. Believe it or not, a penny. When I find a penny, I get excited. I will go dive and grab that penny. You know why? Because the Lord told me one day, he said, if you can't pick up that penny, why should he bless you with more?
Wow.
And so I pick up every single one. I hold it to the sky and I say, thank you, Lord, for the blessings.
Yes.
Because there is more coming, and it's just a reminder. Everything is a small step. Yes. And I'm content with whatever I have. And so whether it be $1,000, I haven't been to the $1 million step, but I'm grateful for everything. And it's just celebrate. You have to celebrate every day. Every day is a blessing, and you're going from glory to glory, to mountain to mountain.
Yes.
Because when you stay in gratitude and gratefulness, more is coming. But the other lesson that God taught me, you also have to celebrate others. If you're hating on others and jealous and envious of others, he will not bless you.
Yes, and that's been a tactic for people too, because I truly believe that people might not have something that somebody else have, and they're saying, "Oh, that's nothing." Him or her getting to that point, that's nothing. I could have did that, or anybody could have did that, as opposed to celebrating them. Right. And I do agree that you're not prepared to have nothing to yourself if you're not willing to celebrate somebody else's. You can't recognize greatness in front of you. So if you can't recognize it, we don't need to put greatness on you, because you're really going to mess yourself up. It's just like having too much power.
That's right.
Somebody be giving you something you definitely can't control or can't handle. You haven't demonstrated, the capability of handling that. So I definitely honor those words. And oh, my God, just having this conversation, I couldn't wait to talk to you. Because, I just really want people to learn from you, and learn who you are in your journey, studying your journey. Going through all these degrees, because you didn't immediately go to that point. You had some going around. A lot of people stop and say it didn't happen between 20 and 25, so I don't need to do it.
Right.
What's the advice that you have to tell? Well, first of all, just tell your story on how you went from this degree to that degree, but you were later on, not at 28 to 25.
Right. Yeah, I always had the desire, but like I said, I waited for our son to get to a certain point. I just had to work to help our household too, but I was still learning and growing at that time. I always had the desire to get my education, because it was just something I wanted to do, and God said he'll give you the desires of your heart.
Yes.
And so when I was working in this one corporate job, one of the managers, she had never been a manager before.
Yeah.
And so the ego and pride had gone to her head. And so she kept just being extremely condescending.
Yeah.
She said once, just really condescending. And I just took a card from an old company that I was thinking about starting. I put that card as a visualization on my bulletin board right on my cubicle as a daily reminder to look at it, because I knew I'll be there.
Yes.
And I made a plan to myself by my birthday. This is my timeline.
Yeah.
Because she had said once, she goes, where do you live again? And then I said the city, and she said, oh, that's right. I remember my ex-husband and I lived in a cruddy area too. I said, I don't live in a cruddy area.
Wow.
Thank you anyway. And so I said, that's a kind of unusual thing to start.
Yeah, of course.
But I knew where it was coming from, because you always got to test someone's heart and their motivation. And so she said, where do you see yourself in 5 years? And before I even had a chance to answer, because dream stealers, dream snatchers, and you always got to be discerning and watch those. Wow. And so I said, before I had a chance to answer, she goes, well, I could see you as an administrative assistant. and I said, well, appreciate that vote of confidence, but that's not my aspiration.
Yeah.
Not that anything's wrong with an administrative assistant, but that's not my goals. But thank you anyway. And in my mind, I had already visualized by my birthday, I will be out. I had I had already had my associates in criminal justice and my bachelor's at that time for criminal justice with crime scene emphasis. And with I graduated summa cum laude, and then I started already on my master's in forensic psychology.
Wow!
And I always just loved that. I found it fascinating, and at the time I was also. This is another thing that I think is important. I was volunteering while working full time, while going to school.
Yes.
I volunteered almost 30 hours a week at our local police department because I wanted to pair that in conjunction with what I was learning to make it applicable in real life. And so I had my little squad, car, I had my partner, my uniform, and we did essentially anything that a unsworn officer could do. And there were some kind of harrowing times, but I loved it because I could utilize that with what I was learning, and I could ask questions to the people already in the field. volunteering is so incredibly important.
This is a master class, you guys. This is a master class. I'm telling you, because I tell people this all the time, especially in business. I'm saying, if you want to learn something, like if I'm trying to start a restaurant and you have a restaurant, and I tell you that the percentage is going to go way down if you're going to help me. But if I volunteered at your restaurant, you'll give me all the knowledge. Yes. If I work for you, you'll give me all the knowledge. Yes. That's just the cheat code. Right. Go and volunteer. Go and work for somebody. Go do something like that. Go serve. Right. And you get so much more further by doing so. Right. And nobody believes that.
It's so important because you don't know how that's going to catapult you. And it can lead to internships, a job, or who knows down the road. Relationships
is currency, and that's a big currency that nobody puts enough stock into. Right. Relationships, if you knowing the chief of police because you've been there for 5 years, volunteering, and at first they might say, oh, that's just a volunteer. But after 5 years, like, oh, we love him. We love her. They know the kids and everything like that. People are going to move for you a whole lot different, than if you just sitting there acting like, oh, I don't have to do anything. Right. You need to be, something adding value to your community and where you are. And then using that as a weapon to grow in your career is definitely a cheat code. I truly believe that. And you and I have a little bit in common. I did some forensic work as a photographer as well for years ago. So I commend the lovely women and men that work in that space because I was just snapping photos. But the other work was real. Hey, listen, I know I was important, but I just was like, oh man, the thing that you guys had to go through, that's something different. Then you went to the psychology portion of it. How was that?
That was interesting because again, God just navigated me in a different direction because at that time, before my master's in forensics, I was going to school for that. I got my bachelor's in criminal justice. I thought I was going to be a lawyer. Okay. That was the route I was going. And then when this young man, and he was a young, like 17-year-old, he had gotten picked up that morning for breaking into a house. And it just bothered me so much, because he was already under house arrest. Wow. I'm like, you're too young
to go in that,
Don't go in that direction. So here I am trying to mentor and speak to him as they're processing him. And I go, why'd you do it? I mean, you're so smart. Use your intelligence and your creativity, your God-given creativity for something positive. And he just looked at me because he had been so hardened already. And he goes, just like you go to work, so do we. What's yours is mine, and what's mine is mine. And something just switched in me because then I wanted to go into psychology to help. To redirect individuals so that they don't go that route and to help. And I get it. There's a lot of reasons,
of course,
why that happened, and I don't judge anybody because God redeems and He gives everyone a second chance. I just wanted to go in to be able to help others to see that there are better options, to make better choices, and to not end up a statistic.
I really love that you took that route because, again, being able to highlight it here, these are not the conversations I had about these type of careers. And people don't know that this is an option. I got a kid that's about to go to college, and I didn't think about telling her to do that, and so everybody goes through the broad things, doctor, lawyer, whatever, engineer. And this is something that people are going to need. And they're probably not going to AI this out either.
Right.
They're not going to AI that job out, So at the end of the day, at least no time soon, we never know what happens with that. But we have to have these discussions. And this is why the 98% needs to be highlighted. Because, again, especially in even in our community, like, we move. So when you come adopt a lawyer, you move. So we can't see, even if it's not your father, so-and-so's father is a doctor, but they moved to the nicer neighborhood now. You're no longer around there. So you can't even get that. You can't glean from them. What is something that you want to tell, especially young women, about going after a career right now, as opposed to just going to college because they think it's, the thing to do? Like, how do they go about picking a career?
It's tough because with any 18-year-old or 17-year-old, when they have all that pressure on them from high school, like, what do you want to do with your life? And they're like, I don't know. I'm just trying to figure out lunch for today. You know what I'm saying? And all that pressure, it can be overwhelming because is daunting. They haven't figured it out, and a lot of adults haven't even figured
that
it
right.
out. and because I didn't figure out what I wanted to do until I was about 35 is when I started going back to school. And so people think that that's unheard of or like past the age, but it's never too late at any time. But when these young girls, I want to always, speak to them because the enemy will try and lie to them.
Yeah.
You're not good enough. You're not smart enough. You don't have enough money. You come from the wrong side of the tracks. Nobody's going to give you a chance. It's all a lie.
Yeah.
You are equipped.
Yes.
You are beautiful. You are unique and wonderfully made. God put in you everything you need, and you already have what you need to succeed.
Yeah.
You just have to step out in faith. So whatever it is, their desires, start it. God gives you passions for what you want in life. So whatever it is that they feel like they're drawn to, start looking into that area.
Yeah.
There's so many different avenues, even if it's not a 4-year college. There's wonderful trade schools.
Yes.
And things like that, or service industries, because you could see it's almost shifting and it's going back
Yes.
to service.
It's needed.
And they pay great salaries for service industries. So just find out what your passion is. Take a leap of faith. Start if you don't have the means, there's grants. Mm-hmm. There's all kinds of grants the universities and colleges are offering. There's philanthropists who will help as well. And then some, they might even offer it discounted or free. Yeah. And so just start. And then you'll figure it out as you go, because you might end up switching, careers.
Yeah, you might have 4 of them before, before
exactly.
it's all said and done.
Exactly. And study groups with each one, you're going to learn. You're always going to learn and grow. We're all evolving. I haven't arrived. We all grow daily.
I literally keep telling my daughter that, like, who told you that you had to rush?
Right.
Right. We break our necks so that you don't have to rush and you don't feel like you have to just make something happen tomorrow. Mm-hmm. You like enjoy yourself, That's be a kid. That's like we were in a situation we felt like we had to rush when we were that age, but that was my whole thing. I don't want you to have to rush. I don't want you to feel like you have to get out of here, go anywhere. I'm not taking your room right now.
Right.
I don't need your room right now to do anything. So what everybody want to know is, how did you get to the Valley, to the Vegas Valley?
Oh, my goodness.
From Chicago, you got from all the way over there, south side of Chicago, with all the good food and the cold weather.
I know, right? And the food is good. I'm not going to lie. It's the best ever. My friends say, you're a food snob. I said, no, I just know good food from Chicago. But yeah, when we left Chicago, that was when Lucent Technologies was going through their stuff. And so my husband, he took a job in California. Okay. And so we knew at some point we always wanted to move to California. So he took a job there, raised our son, and we worked, and I was still going to school. And then, we lived in the East Bay, Antioch, California. Yeah, I'm familiar. Yep, and we lived there 8 years. Beautiful. And then God ordered our footsteps. My husband took another job in the Southern California, in Pasadena. Okay. So we lived there for 12 and a half years. And then right past the pandemic, California was on a lockdown for 4 years. And so that was kind of tough. And we just, and I knew it was God, because my husband is not the, I'm just going to move, jump, he plans things methodically, and his change is a little bit sometimes difficult. And one day I had already been feeling it in my heart and spirit. Yeah. He goes, you know what, honey, I think we should look someplace else to move after the pandemic, because he just wanted to change his scenery. He wanted a little bit more freedom. Nevada wasn't on lockdown, you know, and just a different scenery. We've been in California for years. And so we took a drive, and our footsteps were ordered. We took a drive, and we had that misperception, like everybody else from California, well, Vegas is just slot machines.
Yeah,
There's nothing
exactly.
else here. We thought that, you know,
Yeah.
and so we drove out one weekend, and then we're like, I looked it up online because I'd heard about Henderson.
Yeah.
I looked it up online, and I go, well, can we take a drive? So we took a drive. I'm like, oh, there are homes. There are communities. Oh, this is great.
Exactly.
And it reminded me a lot of where I grew up
Yeah.
in outside of Chicago and Wheaton. And it reminded my husband of where he grew up. And it drew us in because of the sense of community.
Yeah.
And people look out for each other and people care for each other. And it was just so refreshing to see. And I'm not knocking Cali, but Cali has its place in my heart, but it was different.
Yeah, definitely. Extremely.
Yeah,
Extremely different.
Yes. And so I was like, oh, this is refreshing. People are like helping with things and trying to, just genuinely care. And it was so endearing. And then we made we decided to move, and we've been here. It'll be 3 years in November.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. So you got here and got straight to work.
Well, it's funny because this is what I laugh. I said, Lord, you knew what you were doing, because I thought I was retiring and going to mind my own business and kind of just get a lay of the land and then volunteer or serve somehow, some way. And, well, it started out, there were some issues, like occasional issues with crime and such. So I just started going door to door. I go, we got to know each other. I said, you can't go in your house anymore and just close your garage and not know who your neighbors are.
I love it.
You've got to look out for each other. We're our brother's keepers. And so I'm going to start a neighborhood watch. And so I started that, and we're about 91 strong in our little bitty community. And I bought magnets, I bought lights, and we started patrolling in our own neighborhood.
Oh, man, I love it.
Because the officers, I commend them for what they do. It's just they couldn't be everywhere at every time. So we took matters into our own hands to help them and also protect our own. And so that's kind of how it started. But as far as I've always been community engaged and always out there. But then the Holy Spirit kept whispering to me saying, Monica, you going to run for city council? I'm like, what? Who? What? And I said, I kind of ignored it, for a while. And I was sitting in church, and God was very clear. And he said, you were created for a time such as this.
Yes.
Right.
Esther 4:14.
Yes.
See?
That's right. You know it. And he said, you were created for a time such as this, just as Esther. Do your part, I'll do the rest. And I didn't stutter. I wasn't going to be like Moses. But I said, okay, Lord, if you've equipped me, I will be obedient.
Yeah.
And I didn't know what I was doing, because this is a whole new area. I didn't know how to run a campaign. I didn't know what I needed to do. But I said, Lord, I trust you. If you told me to do it, I'll do it. I didn't have millions. I didn't have hundreds of thousands. I had 2 nickels to rub together. And I said, well, Lord, you own all the cattle on the hill, so you'll make it so.
Yeah.
And to show you God's grace and mercy, and it's all him that did this. Everything I have and have accomplished and will accomplish is all because of him. And so God had me register the last 2 days of filing in the primary.
Wow.
And that would have given me 2 months. There was 2 other people in the race, my predecessor and someone else running. They had 16 months on me.
Wow.
And so I just trusted God, filled out my application, and paid the fee. In 2 months, God removed that third person and made sure that my predecessor, who's a good man, did not make the 51%. Because had he made the 51%, he would have won.
Yeah.
So God got me through the primaries in those 2 months. The third person was out. My predecessor did not get the 51%. So then that pushed us on to the general, and with just he and I. And so I said, Lord, God said, look what I did in 2 months. Watch what I won't do in 4. And I said, yes and amen. It was tough, but I just knew it was in his hands. He said, look straight ahead. That's why I said your faith is so important.
Yes.
Don't look to the left. Don't look to the right.
Don't look back.
Nope.
Your hand to the plow.
That's right. Keep looking forward and trust him.
Yeah.
And so God did. And so I'm grateful, so grateful for the opportunity, because I consider it a ministry to serve.
Yeah.
That's what we're supposed to do. And I get along wonderfully with the mayor initially. I was told other things, and then God said,
Isn't that how that goes, though?
Uh-huh.
Isn't that how that goes all the time?
It is, and that's the thing. That was one thing I wanted to share is discernment. Even though, and God gave me the reason, and I won't stay on the negative, but it's so important because those dream snatchers, and the enemy will try and put people to whisper in your ear.
Yeah.
Don't. And I believed it because I thought that person was trustworthy, but God kept showing me, listen to him when he's telling you stuff. And I said, okay, Lord, show me the enemies, show me the snakes, show me the wolves in sheep's clothing. And he showed me. Yeah. And he said, you go in as a peacemaker because that's his way. Yeah. And that's exactly what I did. So I'm thinking the individuals that I was told were corrupt and doing all it was not truthful. It was a lie. And so they were thinking I was the other. We're like, we get along like best friends, like family. Love it. And I said, thank you, Jesus.
We need to tell more of those stories about politicians because our children need to think about public service more, you know, and because of what we see on the mainstream news, our kids like, I don't want to be a politician. I don't want to do that. Like you're only looking at, major entities. Right. It's a politician outside your door everywhere. That's right. It's the same thing. Our kids like talking about cops. You might see cops do something bad. Per capita, it might be, 100,000 cops or 1 million cops. And you got, 50 horrible ones. Right. You still might need to be a cop so that you can flush out those other 50 or 50,000 or whatever so that we can get better ones.
That's right.
Because it's still needed.
Very much.
It's still needed. But we got to get rid of the bad apples, but the more good apples that we put in there, we can get rid of those ones. They're going to definitely fall off the tree, at some point. But we got to start talking about that because this is the lay of the land. If we're going to be Americans, this is how we got to work it. So you can't run away from the game. Right. You got to figure out how to play the game properly.
That's right.
But you got to actually show up. You have to. And you got to show up so that you can compete and do something. And I think that that's a perfect place for our babies to be. So you never expected to be a politician, period.
No. I said, Lord, you had a sense of humor. You knew what you were doing.
So how's it been so far? Are you happy that you made that decision?
I am because it's just another extension of like when I was doing psychology. You're still helping. Yeah. You're still on call 24 hours. I haven't, thank God, gotten a call at 2 o'clock in the morning, but I was still
But you ready for it.
I'm ready for it. You're still serving. And so I enjoy it, especially in my ward because West Henderson is my ward. So that's where the Raiders training facility, the ACEs, all of that is still undeveloped. It's the only ward with undeveloped land.
You guys got a new hospital over there right now. Yep.
West Henderson Hospital is beautiful. And so it's growing, it's thriving, and I love it because I get to help shape it for what the needs are of the community. And so this is why I get excited because I'm like, okay, let's do this. So like we are getting affordable housing in my ward, not just lip service, like true affordable housing. Yeah. We're getting workforce housing for the individuals like teachers and things that have a certain income bracket that don't qualify for affordable, but they can live and it's attainable and it'll be beautiful with all the amenities. Because even for the affordable, you want something to give them dignity that you would live in yourself. And I know the developer. I saw the prototype. I'm like, I would live here. It's beautiful because just because you don't earn a certain income bracket now doesn't mean you have to live in deplorable conditions. Yeah. It's going to be beautiful. So we'll have affordable housing, workforce housing, senior housing. Then we have, I don't know if you know about Haas Automation. No. Haas Automation is relocating their headquarters here from California. It's a $400 million project.
That's a big deal.
If you go down Raiders Way where it turns into Via Inspirata, it is a 2.4 million square foot building. Wow. I've never seen anything so massive.
That's huge.
It's huge. And the great thing about it, because we have to diversify. We can't keep everything on the strip as everyone is seeing. They saw it in COVID and they're seeing it now with the downturn in the economy. We have to diversify. And so that's one of our strategic priorities is diversification. So bringing manufacturing, bringing technology, the jobs. And so Haas, they are not only relocating here, they are hiring over 2,000 jobs at $22 an hour to start. That's the least amount.
Okay.
Because Nevada wages last year just got upgraded to $12 an hour.
That's great.
They're almost paying double to start so that the individuals can have a sustainable, livable wage.
I love that too because I mean people that's been here for a while and celebrating that. But people have been here for a while. When I meet them, they always talked about how people banked on the jobs coming off of the Strip, and so given an opportunity to say, "Hey, we can still live in here, take advantage of all the beautiful things that Vegas has to offer, but we can live in a community like in Henderson and still make a livable wage and don't have to fight with the Strip and things of that nature." So that's amazing. What about education? I know we got like a CSN everywhere. They're gonna bring one over there.
Yes, they
and
do.
you got like Nevada State, not too far away.
Yes.
You guys want to do some partnerships in those areas?
We actually do, and that's one of the partnerships the city made with CSN. Right across the street from where Haas is, there's a building called the Deborah March Center of Excellence.
Okay.
And we made a partnership with CSN. They will provide the training for the manufacturing jobs for Haas, in some cases for free.
That's called a strategic partnership, you guys.
Yes. And so it's phenomenal. We have a wonderful partnership with them now. We're going to do some expansions. That's in Ward 1 with CSN to bring additional jobs, additional training, additional subject matters. With all the universities and colleges and trade schools, we have wonderful relationships when it comes to education, because that was a sore spot, I think, throughout the whole valley, because with the younger generation through high school, it was not doing so good. We would vacillate between 46th and 49th out of 50. That's terrible.
Yeah.
Our children are our future, so we have to move the needle. The district is so large.
Yeah.
And I don't know, we can't change it. The state has to make that decision to break us up, is my hope.
I hope so as well.
Because in any other state, that's the way that it is. To give the kids a fighting chance, and each individual area has their own district to manage it. And so for now, because it is a huge priority for us, the governor authorized us as a charter school authorizer. Yeah. And so now we just approved our first charter school, and there's 3 others in the pipeline.
Love it.
Yeah, because we have to give options, and we have to give these kids a fighting chance. And so we have 3 others. Hopefully they'll make the necessary adjustments that they need to, and they can be approved, because we can't just arbitrarily just say yes, and stamp them, because we're responsible for them. We're responsible for the outcome. So if they don't meet the threshold, then we can have that stripped from us. So we take it extremely serious. And our schools, even the CCSD, and I commend the teachers and the staff for all the hard work that they do, because they love what they do. They love our children, and they themselves have children within the system, and they want to see us succeed. We have a new superintendent.
Yes.
She is phenomenal.
Okay.
I really like her, and you could tell she has a heart to make things change. She rolled up her sleeves and she was out there in the trenches, not just sitting behind a desk and just giving lip service. She's been out there, and so she's come to meet with us several times, and so she's really dedicated and focused too on education, improving and changing, moving that needle. And already we've had I forget the timeline, in this short duration, many of our schools increased by 2 stars.
Wow.
And one or a couple, I don't have the statistics with me, increased by 3.
Yeah.
Which is phenomenal.
That is.
Because that has not happened in such a long time. So it's really exciting to see the change, and the kids are so excited.
I love it. Now, my baby, the entrepreneurship, what's the best way for business owners in the Valley to support? Because I do believe entrepreneurship is selfless, not selfish.
Right.
And also do business with City of Henderson, partner with you and your constituents to make the area better.
Well, the chamber, I'll brag on them for a minute. The Henderson Chamber of Commerce, they have a great alliance. I always tell businesses, if they can, join, because, again, it's networking.
Yeah.
And they have a huge network. And so also the city has where they can get on like a dedicated list,
Yes.
preferred list, and because most people don't know about it. And then the city can utilize them for.
Is it the same as the in-gym list, or is it just a specific list for Henderson?
I believe it's the in-gym
In-gym.
list.
Okay, okay, yep.
And
Okay.
then and so like it gives them another opportunity. They're listed as well, but that networking, especially with the chamber, is wonderful. I do everything I can to like showcase our businesses, even if they're not my ward.
Yeah.
I'll go there because I love to support our businesses. I'll take a little video or picture them. Hey, come on, check it out, and that kind of thing, because they might not have the money for the marketing.
Yeah.
But I can put it on my platform,
Yeah.
and just push it out there on all my pages that I have access to, because it's important when businesses thrive, because we are pro-business.
Yes.
And when businesses thrive, we all thrive.
Definitely.
And it's so important because people can't get territorial. We're all in this
definitely.
together. And so I love to see when other businesses thrive. And then we have mixers and networking events, so I encourage people to attend those as well.
And the volunteering as well. We got to go back to that. Business owners
Mm-hmm.
volunteer. Stop by, ask this lovely young lady, hey, how can I serve?
Yes.
When something's going on, and then there you are. People don't forget that part. I was living in South Carolina before I came here. I remember I kind of catapulted in my business when I served back in 2015. We had a 1,000-year flood, almost to the day, literally 10 years ago. And we were out there, like, forget the business. We were out there passing out water. We were out there doing everything. And my business catapulted. The very next year, a lot of people that didn't know who I was knew everything about me because they saw us out there with our shirts on, working and serving the people. So I bring that energy here, like, hey, how can we get out here and serve? And please, ma'am, please serve. You're a business owner and you're not serving your community. You're not doing your job. Because it's not just about making money off your community. You actually have to make a difference in your community.
That's very true. And there's so many charities and nonprofits out there that need help.
Definitely.
There's places like Hope Link that they serve the unhoused. There is, I'm trying to think of Kathleen Miller. She started an organization for pregnant unwed mothers.
Wow.
And she has several. She just opened her second home. Beautiful organization that gives back and helps move the next generation. And things like
Phenomenal.
that. It truly is. There's so many organizations and opportunities to serve, and because you're blessed when you're blessed to be a blessing.
Yes.
So again, when you serve, it comes back to you.
I love it. At the time of this recording, we're wrapping up 2025. We're in the fourth quarter. We in crunch time. How do you plan on wrapping up the year in your ward and everything that you're doing?
My plan is to finish strong and just keep the needs of the community, because like in West Henderson, like I was saying, it's so undeveloped still. We need more restaurants, real restaurants, not just fast food.
Yes.
Real restaurants. We have the casino that is scheduled, Inspirada Station, that's scheduled to come there, which is the focal point. It's going to look similar to Durango.
Okay, so this is Stations Casino? Okay.
And then it'll be the equivalent of downtown Summerlin,
Yeah,
right next to it, but
wow.
a little bit bigger. So everyone's waiting in anticipation with that. And I've talked to them several times. Like,
Well, let's go. Let's move this thing along.
Because that's a focal point, and so that'll again bring jobs.
Yeah.
But also we have a new grocery store coming.
Okay.
Sprouts is coming. They'll break ground in another month or so.
Okay.
And we have more businesses coming to meet again the needs in medical offices and things like that, and real restaurants, outdoor eateries, retail.
Yeah.
Instead of having a commute. And then it'll have a bowling alley and a movie theater too.
Uh-oh.
And so I also try and get some more schools built, because we do have the land slated for it.
Yeah.
To make sure that we meet those educational needs and also bring more jobs,
Yes.
more training, and more housing.
I love it. This is amazing. Now, I wanted to leave this for last because it's extremely important. But you are the first African-American woman in your space.
Yes.
What does that say for you? Like, how did you feel when you made this accomplishment?
It was overwhelming, actually, because it didn't sink in until one day when I was going to the mailbox, my mailbox, and then I go, oh my goodness, it really did happen. And because I'm just used to working, doing, and then it sunk in. I go, oh my goodness. But again, it's a testament to God. Because not only am I the first person of color ever in the city's history, I'm the 11th female on that council. The first time an incumbent has been defeated in 29 years.
Wow.
And the highest spread ever of a win. And I give all glory to God for that. But I'm humbled and I'm grateful because it's a huge opportunity for me to give back, for me to mentor, for me to help in any way that I can, to show others that it can be done and it is possible. And however way that I can help, give advice, give wisdom, give contacts, I will do that because the path is open for all of us.
Definitely. Thinking about women, you have young ladies, I'm seeing them working on cars now. I'm seeing them become electricians. I'm seeing them being plumbers. I'm seeing them knock it out the park. This is the time.
Yes, it is.
This is definitely the time. But being a woman of faith, how do you make sure that these women, what do you say to these young ladies so they understand what the Proverbs 31 woman really looks like? Because they like to use that phrase, but they don't really read and see what she was really about. How do they stay on that? Because this is the time. This is the time of the woman.
It is.
It don't matter what color. This is the time of the woman.
Yes.
But you need to be like that woman in Proverbs 31 who was revered not just by her community, but by her kids, by her husband. She did have a husband. She didn't do it by herself. She was with a husband. How do you talk to them and say, hey, how do you stay grounded and still be superwoman at the same time?
Yes, always keep God first, to keep the ego in check and the pride at bay. Always keep God first. Listen to that small voice when he's telling you exactly what to do. He will put people in your path to help elevate you and to speak life into you. Also, don't look at what the world gives or says you should be doing, because you see the world as it is. Lie, cheat, steal, tear down. You don't have to do that. God already has your place. Just stay focused, trust God, be that Proverbs 31 woman that rolls up her sleeves and does what she needs to do.
Yes.
And don't complain.
Yes.
Because God will elevate you. All your footsteps are ordered.
Yeah.
They're ordered.
I can't say it better. I champion our sisters. I'm raising a daughter, and I just tell her that no matter what you do, you got to remember that you are a nurturer.
Yes.
You are a nurturer. So even at your highest point in your career or whatever, you are a nurturer. So nurturing means that things are going to get better because you put your hands on it.
That's right.
And so I want our sisters to believe that. I want the women around us to believe that. When we put our hands on something, it's because y'all going to make it better.
That's right.
Not because you're here to tear up or destroy, because that's not what you put here for.
That's right.
You're not put here to do that.
No. The word says, everything we touch is blessed and golden. So
definitely.
Every room and environment that we walk into is better because we are there and we have favor. Yes.
Looks better, smells better, everything. It's just better, man. And they have to know that. Like, don't create no discord. No. Like, there's no need for that. That's right. That's not your nature. That's not your nature. Your nature is to nurture. This has been phenomenal for me. How you feeling?
Thank you. I'm feeling good. Thank you for the opportunity.
Of course. Please leave our people with a word of encouragement before we go. I always want people to have a word of encouragement from somebody, and someone like yourself, especially. This is for our valley. This platform has been built for this valley. So what's something the valley need to hear from you?
So what I can share with you is no matter what things look like now is not where they will be. Keep moving forward. Don't look to the left. Don't look to the right. Look straight ahead. Stay focused. Keep God first. He's ordered your footsteps. You're already equipped with everything that you do. You're going from glory to glory, and I'm excited to see you in your journey.
I love it. I love it. Please let them know how they can follow you on social media. She's very active on social media. Follow all your platforms and how they can connect with you if they need their support or they need to support you.
Thank you. My website is Vote Dr. Monica Larson. So it's Vote DrMonicalaRson.com. On social media, it's Monica Larson NV on Instagram, on TikTok, and on Facebook. And I hope you follow me and just see all the great things that we're doing. And you can reach out and contact me there as well.
Definitely extremely personable, and this is not a politician that you can't touch, reach out and touch. And this is definitely a blessing to have people like that around, because we saw the other way, you know. So I'm delighted, and definitely thank you so much for taking the time to come out. You guys, as I said, we're going to continue to do our best to create, you know, this platform to that you can come on and see what's going on right here in the Valley. This is the best media platform that's been created right here because of just that. In the studio with J Haleem. Go ahead and connect with us on YouTube. Go ahead and follow us in the studio at J Haleem. Go ahead and follow us on Instagram in the studio at J Haleem. My platform is www.jhaleem.com, and I am J Haleem on all social media platforms. If you want to see Dr. Larson, it's Doctor, right?
Yes.
PhD, yep. And Councilwoman and all that, Superwoman, Larson, go ahead and follow. You'll see all that stuff on the screen. Connect with her, talk with her. If you're in the Henderson area, you need to meet her immediately and see how you can serve and see how she can help you and how you can help them. We got the one hand has to definitely watch the other. But in the meantime, in between time, we'll see you right here in the studio for our next show. Talk to you soon.